At the end of Matthew 28, the disciples come and encounter the risen Lord for the first time near Galilee. And we read in verses 16 through 18 that when they do, their initial response is to worship Him. But then it says in verse 16 that there was some doubt in their midst. But instead of giving into the doubt, they continued to worship. They continued to praise. Worship and praise is such a powerful tool, such a powerful weapon of getting past doubt, of getting past despair, of getting past discouragement, of getting past all those things, all those lies of the enemy that he kicks up and throws in your way to hinder you, limit you, or interfere with what God has for you. And as we read into verse 17 and verse 18, we see that as they worship the Lord, He begins to speak to them of who He is. He says, I have been given all authority in heaven and on the earth, and then go forth into the nations with this authority and make disciples of nations everywhere. See, what the Lord was doing was He was helping them move past their doubt because by reminding them of who He was, and then since we're made in His image, what we have and what we carry. So just like the disciples at the end of Matthew 28, if you find yourself in doubt, for example, maybe you've just had a great revelation about the provision of God or the healing power of God, and you're believing Him for a healing miracle or for a provision miracle, and you start praying into it, and you start declaring it, and if you don't see it happen right away, some doubt can come in, some discouragement can creep in. And those things, the best way to wrestle them is to simply go into worship and praise. You start worshiping Jesus. You start praising Jesus. You start celebrating who our God is and what our God's done. And just like He did for the disciples, He'll speak to you. He'll speak to you and remind you of His total victory and His complete authority in the earth. And then He's going to remind you that He's placed that inside of you to go out into the earth and give it away. God has an amazing plan for your life, and He's going to use you to have great impact in the earth for Him and His kingdom. And it starts with you leaning into it by praising and worshiping Him. Don't give the devil any space in your head or in your life. And if you find yourself in doubt or you find yourself in discouragement or despair, simply do what the disciples did when they found doubt in their midst. They worshiped God, they praised God, and then they were reminded who our God is, and they were released in His power and authority to have great impact in the earth. Praise God today. Worship Him with all your heart and watch Him speak to you and remind you of all that He has for you.